Well, good evening. Welcome to another episode of Let Truth Be Told. Just thank the Lord for being back in the saddle. UPTV, everybody out there to watch the program every Sunday night and say, Sean, I watch your program every Sunday night and at 4 o'clock in the morning on Sunday mornings. I thank the Lord for able to be in the studio once again and taping another program in front of my listening audience. Today's episode is going to be about peace. We're trying to get into a place of peace and in our lives. Summertime's come and it's hot outside and we want to just get to a place where we can just relax. I mean, today you see me, I'm dressing a little down and normally I have on a shirt and tie, but just feeling in a comfortable place right now and being able to just have a summer look for you guys. I want to say big shots out to all the graduates that have just graduated, whether you was the University of Illinois or Parkland College or some other college or just a graduation at Urbana Adult Ed or even in high school levels or grade school or even Head Start. Just congratulations to everyone that graduated and just put forth the extra effort to be successful in education and just a personal few just clean up some personal friends of mine. Fat Cat, big shots out to you, man. I mean, just thank the Lord and you went back and you got what the devil done stole from you, man. So I really commend you. Tip my hat off to you. Miss Karen, she was so excited about her graduation. Big shots out to you, Karen. Miss Denise over at Adult Ed, big shots out to you. We're excited about your graduation. My niece Jocelyn, I mean, just really proud of you. Making some great accomplishments, really making our family happy, and I thank the Lord for you just being a young lady that's just on a great path. So keep up the good work. My niece Markiana really made your dad proud, your mom proud, and just our family. So I thank the Lord for you and everybody that made all of their family members proud. That's a place that you want to make people. You want to make them very proud of your success and the things that you have going on. So big shouts out to everybody that's out there that just did some great things. It's been a fast-moving approach into summer. Thank the Lord for a long winter. Long winter, and I know you guys had a long winter. We had a very rough winter here in Illinois, and I just thank the Lord for seeing the sun shine. So if you hold on, the sun will shine. Like today, we're having a beautiful day today, and thank the Lord for Jason and all the staff, the gentleman that's taping the program. Big shouts out to you. I really appreciate you taking the time out to be able to record this program for me and the listening audience. Want to just talk about a place of peace, and that's really what the Lord put on my heart is about peace and ways that we can get to peace and things that can distract our peace so one thing that came into mind is big shouts out to my pastor Lakevi C. Johnson over Jericho Missionary Baptist Church, 1601 West Bloomington Road. Big shouts out to you, Pastor, just the wisdom that you have instilled within me and reinforced in me. One Sunday he said, how can you get to a place of peace when you haven't lived in peace? How can you rest in peace and you haven't lived in peace? I'm in the funeral home business, and we always end up taking someone to their final resting place. And so when we say resting place, it's a place of peace, that dash that Mother Hattie always talks about, from one point to the next point. And at the end of that dash was in a peaceful transition. And so while we're in the land of the living, we're able to create that and show an example of what that should look like. And so what I did is, and what you can always do is Google something. If you want to know something, Google it. And so what I did is I Googled it, and the definition from Google was freedom from disturbance, quiet, tranquility. And freedom is just a whole nother level, when you have the independency to do what you want to do. And we all have that. And in the United States of America, being the land of the free, the home of the brave, we have the freedoms of choice. And we have the freedoms to make conscious choices, unlike some other countries. So I thank the Lord for this country and the things that we are able to do. We're able to make some peaceful choices in our life. We always come to a point where it's a fork in the road or a decision that needs to be made, and being able to make that right decision, and so being able to just have that's going to lead to a place of peace. Sometimes, what we try to, when we're trying to get to a place of peace, we always leave it up to the hands of others, whether if it's a friend or whether it's a family member. We have questions about what should we do. And not everybody's in your best interest at heart, you know, and some people are making decisions for you that might be jealous, envious of you, and that tell you some things, or might not, you know, might not see it yet. You know, when we talk about vision and we talk about seeing, sometimes it's not just the physical eyes, it's being able to see through that faith walk and through the things that you might want to happen in your life, like the young graduates that are planning on going to college or plan on doing some other things with their now degree, their diploma, or will to say it. You know, not everybody. I learned that early when I first opened my barbershop up, and me and my buddies, we got together and we said, oh, we're gonna go celebrate. And we went to a place to celebrate, and a girl called me to the side, an older lady called me to the side, and she was looking at us having just the time of our lives because we were excited about getting the barbershop open. And she said, Sean, not everybody's happy about your success. So I've always added that to the back of my mind, and any time that I'm doing anything, that that everybody's not gonna be a fan. I was listening to Steve Harvey Morning Show one morning, and he really fed me a good word that morning. He said that, you know, that he got it from his friend, which was Joel Osteen, and Joel said that 25% of the people, they're not gonna like you no matter what you do. Another 25%, they can sway either way. They can either go to the left, to the right. You know, the negative people can persuade them to think one way or another. Another 25%, they think you're cool. They just think you're a nice person, and they're just behind you just because you're nice. They're tag along. We're going to talk about a tag along here in a second. They're just a tag along. And the other 25%, they love you to death no matter what you do. So that's the close family and friends, that your confidants that say, go ahead, you know, you can do it. The people that showed up at that graduation, the people that reached out and gave you that phone call that said, congratulations, you're headed in the right direction. Those people are the 25% that you should center yourself around. Those people that build you up when you're torn down. And so what I do is I don't worry about the naysayers. You know. You just got to keep pressing, and you know, and keep working on your character, keep working on what that dad should look like for your life and for your family. And so when I think about that, you know, some people are just in your life just for chaos. And so I mean, you got to be able to distinguish the two, you know, and being able to see. And I talked about it in the last program, how to evaluate those people. Just start talking about the things you want to do with your life, your dreams, your aspirations, the things that you want to happen in your life, and see what the response is. If it's a negative response, you know, I don't like to be around people that say, well, you can't, I can't, you can't. It's always some can'ts in there. It's always some cans in there, you know, and take me for example, and take a lot of others for example that's around you, and that came from, I mean, brokenness all around us. You know, but then that started heading and using that negative energy into some positive energy. Start centering yourself around some more positive people. You know, peaceful reinforcements around you. I put on my paper here, you know, churches, friends, support. You know, finding a great job, a new career. You know, focusing on a new career. You know, trying to get some further education, like we spoke about earlier. You know, trying to get debt free. You know, I mean, if you're like me, when the bills are coming and you don't have really enough finances to kind of cover the bills, it kind of gets stressful. And so you kind of just want to get to a place where you just want to say, Calgon, take me away, get that stress off your back. I mean, 'cause it's like a monkey on your back, and you kind of tote it along, you know, and that starts high blood pressure, you know, diabetes, obesity, you know, all kinds of things of that nature that becomes a health problem that hinders you from doing some of the things that you want to do. You know, other things that contend with your pieces. You know, first I will always say that you got to be God connected. Spoke with a young man this morning, you know, over by the courthouse, and I know his story. You know, each one of us have our own individual story. It's not tailored. As one story is not tailored like the next story. And so knowing his story, and I told him, I said, man, you're on a great path now. You're back refocused. you know, add some God to it. You know, take some time out and add some God to it, because, you know, with the world that we're in today, and it's enough negativity out there that you need some positive reinforcement. And so I would say, you know, go take the time out, attend somebody's church service, listen to a pastor here and there, listen to some positive motivational speakers. I know in the business that we do as insurance, you know, sometimes you just don't feel like it. You know, sometimes even in church, some mornings I just don't feel like going, but I kind of press my way because I know what the ending goal is supposed to be. I know what I'm trying to accomplish, so I kind of press my way. And sometimes you just need that motivational speaker in the morning time to just get you motivated. You know, I always like, and you will hear me say Steve Harvey, because I always like listen to Steve Harvey in the morning time, and I always like his final comments, because it's always positive comments to be able to get his listening audience into a positive day, and to start, you know, Pastor always say, blow a fresh wind on me. I need to, you know, sometimes we just need a revival in our life to be able to encourage others, because sometimes we're so broken that we break everybody else around us. You know, we're never saying anything positive, and that's because we're broken, we're torn. You know, we haven't healed. You know, you got to get to a place where you start healing, to be able to get to a place of peace. You know, it's so many hurts out there, you know, that just hurt us. You know, I mean, most recently, you know, I went through, you know, even in my funeral home business, you know, be able to help people that have been broken because of the loss of a loved one, an important loved one, you know, maybe the mother of a family, or the wife to a husband, you know, a baby, you know, just the loss of a baby, you know, the loss of a granddad or a grandmother, you know. I mean, just that foundation within that family, you know. And so I've witnessed that, you know. Just recently, the other day, lost a really close friend, you know. And so along with the close friends that I've lost before in the past. So sometimes those things can kind of derail you, get you off your track. But I always like going back to the rock, and where the place where positive reinforcement's at, and that's the church. And so you'll find me a lot of times at Wednesday night's Bible class, and a lot of times at a Sunday morning service or evening service, maybe somewhere, you know, because you need that positive fuel. Because you can watch the news. I mean, so many different things are going on in the news, with so many different things that's happening, that it'll beat you down a little bit, and you be like, man, is all this stuff going on? And it is. It is definitely going on. I mean, not just, you don't even have to look at a national scale as far as CNN news, but just even on our local news, is so many different things going on, and you got to protect yourself. And so protecting yourself and being able to protect your peace, you know, because things will affect your peace, you know, and so in saying that, you know, I always talk about your friends and people that you're centered around, and a lot of times, you know, a lot of people around you just like a tag along. And I was in a Bible class a couple weeks ago, and we're in this relationship thing where pastor's been talking a lot about relationships, and I love that piece, because we can't make it without on an island by ourselves. A lot of times we try to isolate ourselves, but you got to connect with other people. And me and my nephew Jamal always say, life is about relationships. It's about making healthy relationships, being connected with the right people. And so being said that connected with the right people, we went through a Bible class, and if you check in your Bible, it's connected with Genesis, and it's talking about Abram and Lot. And Lot benefited off of Abram, because Abram was blessed, and God had anointed him and had blessed him, and he was onto a place of peace. And as he went on his journey, he picked up Lot. And so Lot was a tag along, him and his homeboys and his buddies. You know, it looked like a lot of our stories, you know. I mean, at least me in my life, you know. Some people were in my life at certain points in my life because of the fact that they were tagging along on what I knew God had a direction in life that I was going, and I was determined to go, and I'm still determined to go. And people are just, you know, kind of weighing you down, you know. And I know a lot of you listeners out there, and your watchers, television watchers out there, you know, got some of the similar stuff happening in your lives, you know. So you got to reevaluate sometimes, you know, changing your people, places, and things, you know, getting some relief. And so what happened is that, you know, Lot ended up, you know, getting blessed, and Abram had all the cattle and things of that nature, and riches, you know, things that we strive for. cars, houses and things that we strive for, a decent family, things of that nature. And so as they moved in their journey, he picked up things along the way. Him and his friends picked up things along the way. Well, lo and behold, it's almost like any group that I knew about, the Temptations or the Five Heartbeats, or any other group that you see, it's something that got to come in and have some conflict. The devil got to move his way in. And so that's what happens to a lot of times in our lives. The devil got to weave in. He got to get into place, and start some chaos. So that's what happened, which ended up making them disconnect. And so a lot of times we end up disconnecting. And there's nothing wrong with disconnecting from people that's negative in your lives. A lot of times I'll look at a lot of the guys that I know that maybe did some time in the penitentiary and things of that nature. And sometimes they'll go back and they'll get the same old buddies, the same people that led them to the penitentiary from the first place. And they go do the same old things expecting a different result, which is called insanity. Doing the same things. Try something different. Try something that you maybe haven't tried before, And so those things you'll be amazed. You'll be amazed at the relief that you'll have, the peace that you'll be at. I've spoken with so many different people and spoken with, whether if it was in the funeral home business or whether it was the insurance business or maybe just doing a haircut, at the barbershop, are people that really striving for peace. Whether if it's a felony holding you back and you saying, man, there's nothing out there for me. Everybody's turning me away. That's just the devil to try to discourage you. My grandmother used to say, it's more than one way to skin a cat. It's more than one way to skin a cat. Take it a different direction. Maybe it's God telling you to be an entrepreneur. Maybe it's some different things that you need to adjust to. Go back and get that diploma. Don't let that be the halo over your head. A lot of times we'll waddle in it. We'll wrestle with it year after year, going through the same motions, And I always say make some forward motions, As I talk about the characters in the story, Abram and Lot, they were on a journey. Abram didn't let no grass grow on his feet, as my buddy Toby used to tell me. Don't let no grass grow over your feet. You got to be moving. You got to be moving. It's hard for the devil to hit a moving target. So you got to keep moving, keeping your mind regulated, stayed in a place, stayed on either him or on your mission, or what your goals and your aspirations are, and you're working on it. You're knocking down one chip at a time. Each and every day you're doing one more positive thing towards your place of peace, And so, and as we talk about that, I was just telling the guy, one of the guys, close guys I knew, I was talking to him, and he had went to a local nightclub, and some things came up, and I think he got approached, and almost assaulted. And I told him, I said, everybody ain't your friend. A lot of times we wish they were. We try to make them our friend. We do all the necessary things to be a friend, but I've came to the conclusion that not everybody know how to be a friend. Are you the only person in the relationship giving something? Do people just come around you because you're a giver and they're a taker? A lot of times people are just takers, only for what you do, And so a lot of times people, like me and a lot of you guys out there that love blessing people, love, seeing a smile on somebody else's face, Sometimes people take that for granted. And then we got to do it in the right spirit. And doing things for people in the right spirit, you already know that, only what you do for Christ is going to last. So only things that you do, from the soul and the depths of your heart is what lasts, Even with me, even when you do stuff for people, some people take for granted, what you do. Don't take anything for granted. Don't take your loved ones for granted. Nobody has to be your friend. Nobody has to do anything for you. I remember one time doing something for somebody and said, man, all you're going to give me is $5. And, you gave me $20 here and you give me $5 now. And I'm like, nobody have to give you anything. I'm doing this out the kindness of my heart, But a lot of people in your lives are selfish. And they're in your life for selfish reasons. So I say today, let me, I'm going to cut them out. You can cut them out your life. Treat them with a long handle spoon, as my mother say. Love them. Love them from a distance. Some people tell me, love them from a distance, you know. Come around them periodically because so that you can accomplish some of the things that you accomplish, that you want to accomplish, so your family can be successful. So you can be like the young ladies that I was talking about, my nieces and them, on a road to a path of success, you know, and some happiness, you know, because we all deserve that in our lives. We all deserve that, you know. We're not here by mistake. We're not here because of happenstance. We're not here because of, you know, some mistake that we're here and we just evolved. We're here for each other. And so in order to be helpmates one toward another, we all got to be, you know, pull our bootstraps up, as we used to say in the military, and start taking on our role or taking on our responsibility, you know, just being accountable, you know, for the things that we do, and being accountable for making sure that we're taking care of our fellow person. And I think that if we start doing that, it starts developing stronger families. It starts first building us up and making us stronger so that we can start being a benefit to our families. We can start being a benefit to this community and ultimately be a benefit to this state and this nation. And I think that's just where it starts at. It starts right here with you. It starts within your heart and being a better person. You know, we have a place where, you know, some people just do stuff, you know, just because they just love being negative and they just got to a negative place. You know, I get on Facebook sometimes and I kind of watch some of the things that's going on Facebook, maybe comment sometimes, always trying to keep it peaceful. You know, most recently, I just seen some things that on Facebook that was, you know, what was said about me, you know, and not everybody. I know everybody ain't gonna pat you on the back, and I know everybody's gonna say a good deed, but you know, just to say something outlandish and slanderish, you know, and talk about somebody, just to be talking about somebody, you know, a lot of times we talked about it in the Bible class. What is your relationship? Is your commonality with the next person? Just only to talk about somebody else? Do you guys get together just for that? Do you just get together for negative reasons? And as I was looking at the correspondence on there and then the back and forth on there, it let me know that these people are just negative people. Hurt people, man. And that's just how I go. So I thank the Lord for having God connection, because it even let me say, hey, man, I forgive y'all for the things that you just said, man. Because the amount of magnitude of the staff that we have, the amount of the amount of community development that we're trying to do to try to develop opportunities for other people. The things we do ain't just for us. It's for the families. It's to support families and to make people better. Because I understand that I can't grow if people don't grow, because we're all connected. And if you're falling and you can't get up, and everybody keeps stepping over you, that, I mean, ultimately, it's going to build up a hurt person that's going to hurt other people. So we got to understand that. So I think that's why we got our councils. That's why we got our organizations. That's why we have people set in place all around us to support. But you got to be a participant of the support, you know. And sometimes you got to be the one to say, man, I need some help. I'm hurting and I need help. Because other than that, you start to be negative. You start to beat yourself up. And you start doing what Michael Jackson always said. You start looking at the man in the mirror and you don't like what you see. So then you get on Facebook and you blast other people that's trying to be successful, that's trying to break down every barrier, break down every chain that's in our lives to hold us back. But then you be part of the problem instead of part of the solution. You know, and you never should tear other people down for a personal gain. You build people up. And so I'm not going to harp on it, but it's deep in my spirit about building people up. You got to help people. You know, you never know what the next person's story is. You never know what the next person's going through. The person that you might be entertaining might be an angel. And my mama used to always say, if you dig one ditch, you might as well dig two, because you'll fall in one of them yourself. So never dig a ditch. Never pour salt on people. Never say things that's untrue. Bishop Gwynn always say, is it nice? Is it kind? Or is it true? You know, and so I thank the Lord for that. Thank the Lord for UPTV and this program and all of you guys that's listening to me. You know, I mean, you know, I try to bring on the program to say something that might be uplifting to us, because I know we all got our own individual struggles. You know, from the outside looking great, but from the inside all tore up. you know, and it's called camouflage. In the military, we call it camouflage. You know, we put on our makeup, we put on our hair. I just went and got a haircut before this program and let my son cut my hair. Big shouts out to you, Chris, you know, just growing. But, you know, when I got my hair cut, you know, it made me feel a little bit better, you know. I mean, we might go buy some new clothes, or, you know, might go buy something new to make us feel good. But that's all it is a feel good. But until we clean up the outside, see, I mean the inside, when we clean up the inside, see, when we clean up the inside, the outside just looks much more greater, you know, because you can run around with a smile on your face and mean it from the heart when you say it. You know, I love you. And I was just on a radio program, and we were talking about, in which I'm going to talk about, some of the violence that's been going on throughout the community, and about some of these young people that might be broken, that's out there to hurt other people. And I was talking to one of the ministers on the program, and I said, Pastor and Mother, I said, you know what's the problem? We just don't have any love. And they were kind of stuck, kind of still in the problemary, you know, state. But I done already had advanced to the solutionary spot to where we need to be at. And the solutionary spot was love. I can't do anything bad to you if I love you. You know, if I genuinely love my neighbor. You know, a lot of us, we hear a good word, but do we implement it? Are we walking that walk? You know, is the audio matching the video? You know, or do we get into a selfish state where it's me and all about mine? But, you know, as we do that, when we say love, you know, I can't hurt my neighbor. I got to check on him. You know, I seen a guy walking today in deep Easter Banner, riding by. You know, it didn't look normal for him. You know, he got cars, you know, I want to see if he broke down or something. Hey, man, do you need a ride? I'm going your way. A lot of times we can be going the same direction and won't even offer that front seat, won't even offer that back seat. You know, see a person hurting and won't even offer, hey, man, is there anything I can do to help you? You know, I was down by my office yesterday, and I thank the Lord for this brother, you know, because of the fact that, you know, he sees some of the things that's going on. You know, you don't got to tell people, they'll see it. And he know that we always provide, you know, free haircuts and things of that nature, especially during the summertime now, summer months, you know, with young people being out of school. And he wanted to just provide us and just say, hey, man, you know, put something in my hand and say, hey, man, you know, get this to the guys, because I might be bringing a few guys up there to get some haircuts, and he wanted to pay for them. Those are the type of gestures that you do when you're blessed. You know, you're able to think about somebody else during your moment of being blessed. And people like that, they understand the key to the door of blessings, because the Bible says, give, then receive. Not being receiving and then expecting something out of what you then gave, you know, because God's going to give you the increase, man. And it could be in saving your life through a car accident. It could be that you had a health issue, and then and things looked bad, but then the doctor comes back with a much more positive examination and positive review. They say, hey, man, you're on the road to recovery. We didn't think you were going to make it, but you made it. We didn't think Mom was going to make it, but she made it. You know, and that's that reaping and that sowing process that I talked to you about. You know, just being at you know, it might not be for you. It might be the people that you love, that you're close connected with, that end up getting that blessing, and you're able to say, thank you, Lord. Thank you for blessing my mom. Thank you for traveling grace. You know, we were in a storm and we made it through that storm. You know, whether if it's a physical storm or whether if it's a life storm, you know, we all have things that go on through our life that we can't control sometimes. It just, things that happen. It just happens. And we can't control it. But at the end of the day, what the devil meant for bad, God turned it out to be a great situation. It was a learning experience. It was a testimony. The test turned into a testimony, you know, and that's how testimonies happen, you know, by going through something. And if you've never been through something, you don't understand what I'm saying, stay in your seat and stay braced. Put your seatbelt on, because my grandma used to say, just keep on living. And as long as you keep on living, you'll start seeing different situations evolve in your life. And it ain't about the problem. It's how you solve the problem, you know, and that's that place of peace, because you can be going through your storm in your life, and God will put an arm around you and protect you, but you don't even feel it. It's things that have happened in my life that people commit suicide behind. People don't make it through them. People fall down and they just don't recover. you know. And but God has placed a thing in my life and people in my life, and shook some folks out of my life that I didn't know that were causing the problems, you know, and just got me to a place where I can be peaceful. And when you're peaceful, you can become a congratulator. So instead of like the illustration that I told you about the Facebook negativity, it ended up being your congratulator, and you commend people, and you start to get on team, and you say, hey man, how can I be down? How can I help out? You start going to organizations, you start going to meetings, and you start saying, hey, look, I got this, these are my skills. This is what I can offer to the table. This is what I can bring. We got so many different committees with the Champagne Coalition, Community Coalition. It's community. It's all of us. It comes for a joint effort. You know, as we talk about and start getting into the violence that we're having here in the city of Champaign, city of Urbana, you know, the things that we're facing as a city, and with our young people and the gun violence that's been going on, the random shootings. I think we had like 15 shootings over several days. We had shots fired, and we had where a few people had got hit, and we try to wrap our minds around it as a collective group to say, how can we prevent this? And I go back to the radio show with love, you know, just us having the love and compassion to be able to have a meeting of the minds when we talk about community coalition, or we talk about the police department, or joint efforts from different law enforcement to try to wrap our minds around it, to try to make citizens safe. And as we do it, we think about, you know, how can we get the word out? Well, getting the word out is shows like this, and people attending positive meetings, and working with their families positively, and our ministers getting the information out throughout their congregations about just positive things to do, you know. So as we start to meet and we start to come up with creative ways, you know, just to curb the violence, you know, I mean, talk to your young people, you know, sitting down talking to them. A lot of times our young people, we just don't talk to them. We don't find out what's going on until it's already done went on, you know. I mean, all of us are connected in so many different ways. A lot of times when I'm going through these, writing these obituaries, and I'm finding out family members, and I'm finding who's who, and who's a brother to who, and who's a sister to who, and who's a cousin, who's a grandchild. I always find out, oh, I know him, oh, I know her, but I didn't know they were connected. So a lot of times we just don't know that we're connected, but we're connected. And as we trickle the word down, you know, stop the violence. It was a 17-year-old young lady that just did a march a couple of days ago in Chicago, and had thousands upon thousands of people attend this vision that she had about just nonviolence and stopping the violence in her neighborhood, because there's been so many murders and so many shootings and so much tragedy that has happened in Chicago, that she wanted to do something. See, you don't need a crowd. You don't need a whole lot of people. You just need a firm understanding of what you want to do, and a compassion for other people. And she put her efforts together, and people started jumping aboard, and the city jumped on team, and she was able to get thousands of people out, because it starts with one day. It starts with just one day of just you planting the seed of positivity. And so many people that attended that rally understood the importance of a nonviolence movement, or a nonviolence community, you know, because my mom and other older people back in the day, they said, bullet don't have no eyes. So a lot of times in these shootings, we understand that a lot of times the target's never hit. It's always the innocent person. You know, it's like my friend the other day, you know, big shouts out to the Wilson family. And I want you to keep them in prayer for my friend Lil Johnny, you know, but, you know, passed away at a young age. And, you know, but me and some of the other friends were saying, it's always the good guys, man. Just the good guys, you know. I mean, we got people out here trying to hurt themselves daily. But, man, to lose such a powerful person in our life, man, just somebody that's always cheerful, you know, always smiling, you know, always uplifting when they come around, that builds you up, you know, that just builds you up, you know. And as I reflect back in my mind and in my heart on that, you know, it reminds me of my buddy Miel. You know, when he tragically lost us, man. You never know, man, when it's gonna be that last, you know, that last pound, that last handshake, that last hug, you know, and you kind of, you know, you do like a mom told me on yesterday's service and said, man, I never got to say goodbye. You know, it used to be a song said, never got to say goodbye. You know, never got to say goodbye, never got to say I love you. You know, if we were the author and finishers of our faith, you know, we'll be able to get them times in. We'll be able to capture those moments, but we never know. You know, we think we're gonna live till we're older, but we never know. We're here for that dash, that snippet. So each moment, make it count. You know, so when you're with your loved ones, make it count. You know, as I do insurance and some of the educational pieces that we pick up and some of the material that we pick up, we found out that funerals break up more families than divorce. So getting to a place of peace, you know, getting your business in order, you know, where your family won't have to be in such array and such, you know, dysfunctionality and so overwhelmed with what should we do? I mean, having those final arrangements done, having those people in place, you know, I mean, having the people, having that stuff just taken care of, you know, it just, you know, I could see my families that just be more peaceful. They come down and they sit down in front of me and say, hey man, here it is. And this what my wife wanted. And it starts a process of moving. But like I started out saying, you know, if you never lived in peace, then how can you rest in peace? You know, if you never got your stuff together, you never said you're sorry, you never forgived anyone, then how can you be forgiven? You never reach back and say, man, you know, I love you. You know, I've ran into people that said, I've never had anyone tell me that they love me. You know, we got so much pride and with the hustle and bustle of the day, you know, that we just don't break down and sit those young children down and embrace them with love and let them know what real love is. It's not just by you going to work. It's by you sitting back after work and taking out a little time with the young ones. You know, and as we talk about the young men and that's creating the violence, it's about, you know, the uncles. You know, back in the day, and off my buddy, Lil Johnny, my buddy Lil Johnny, you know, just thinking about him, his dad, Big Johnny, and he ran over there by the Douglas Center and he ran a concession stand and just thinking about him, you know, man, he showed us a lot of love, man. And when our dads went in place, you know, he would come out there and be the dad. Their dad was our dad. He was our neighborhood dad. He was our big dad. He ran the park, you know, and he would teach us different things, you know, show us things. And so as back in the day, we had uncles and we had aunties and we had people that stood up in the gap and played a role in our lives, you know, and certain things you weren't gonna do, and they helped us with the decisions that we made. You know, if we ran into a hard place or, you know, a tough place in our life, they were able to help us with the decisions. And so a lot of times, young people, they don't have that anymore. You know, we just didn't, you know, let them be, you know, they raise themselves, you know, and things of that nature. We got to get back. Let's take back what the devil has stole from us. You know, you're your uncle for a reason, your auntie for a reason. You know, you're a godparent for a reason. You know, and mom and dad, you know, sometimes mom and dad need a little assistance. You know, you're on that school board for a reason. You know, you're on these committees for a reason. And so just stepping our game up and just doing, you know, whatever we can do to be a benefit. You know, a lot of times in insurance, we talk about a benefit package, you know, and then a benefit package, sometimes dealing with the right relationship, it comes with an enhancer. So, you know, when you're dealing with the Abram and your Lot, it comes with a benefit package that's an enhancer. So by your God connection, Lot was able to get a whole nother blessing that he probably wouldn't have received because of who he was connected with. You know, sometimes the people that you're connected with, man, it's amazing. And then when you find yourself to be a supporter and a congratulator, be able to push them a little bit, you know, test them, push them, make them go a little bit further. Man, you'd be amazed at the blessings that drop off. I was at another service and sometime and the preacher talked about being the coffee cup and just being the saucer. Because when the cup gets to overflowing, you don't have to worry about it because he's playing his role as a saucer, because it's going to just fall over. all the benefits and all the blessings and all the happiness and the peacefulness just gonna flow over. And now we're all in a place of peace. So, and you know, as we talk about place of peace and we talk about people and things of that nature, and just being at a place, man, where you're not discouraged, you know, be not discouraged. You're not thrown off and things of that nature, you know. And so I thank the Lord for that being part of our topic today, is just being peaceful, man. You know, it's just a place. You know, sometimes I like going to quiet places, and we talk about in that definition it said quiet. Sometimes I like being in quiet places and just being able to just gather my thoughts for the day. You know, not being just comfortable around a whole crowd of people. A lot of times we can't operate because we're around a crowd of people. Sometimes you can still be lonely and you're in a crowd. Yeah, people all around you. But because you haven't healed and you can't get to a place of peace, you know, I like going to parks and sitting in parks and just being at a place where I can just, you know, hear the birds chirp, you know, just hear the water running, you know, just be in a place of peace. You know, it's free. We talked about freedom in that definition. It's free. It's for the things that it don't cost. You know, a lot of times in order to get that self-gratification, we got to go buy something. We got to go for the things that cost a whole lot. You know, in order to seem to get that kid, you know, to calm down, we got to go, man, took him to go buy a $400 PlayStation or Xbox something, or, you know, something of that nature. We got to get to the stuff that God just, it's automatic. It's already benefit. It's a blessing. It's being connected with the United States of America, the stuff that's free. You know, some of our local libraries, some of our, you know, our public museums, our stuff that's over in the University of Illinois, the things that Illinois just brings to the table, you know, the things that our country just brings to the table. I remember going to the inauguration and just being able to attend some of the things that were just free, because you're in a great country as this country is. And so, you know, and being able to reflect back on the history, the rich history, the amount of people that put blood, sweat, and tears into what we have as far as the United States, and for you to be able to do the things that you do, to be able to have the homes that we have, and to be able to be able to lay down at night and be able to wake up the next morning and be able to do what we do on a regular day basis. You know, it's really a blessing, especially when one of the sisters, she just took a mission trip, my buddy John, his wife, and I was listening to her. And she was on a radio program, and she was telling about just the things that she saw in her mission that were just struggles for other people, you know, just struggles, you know, I mean, just running water, things that we take for granted, you know, just the benefit of transportation that we take for granted, you know. There's so many things that we just take for granted on a daily basis, just on a regular basis. So, you know, let's stop taking advantage and stop taking things for granted. You know, just the relationships that we have. Let's don't take them for granted. You know, just your mom and your dad. There's a lot of people operating without them. A lot of people. You know, as I get ready to go into a birthday on this Sunday, you know, and I thank the Lord for making it, you know, to 46 years old. If Lord let me see that 46th birthday on Sunday, you know, and just being able to come from a place, you know, where, man, Lord, people that shot me down, said what you couldn't do, and being able to get to a place where now I can see the flourishing and what the old saints prayed on me, you know, and the transition that God has shifted me to, you know, at 46 years old. And what I've told, you know, a lot of times people say, man, what you gonna do for your birthday? And I've said, and I thought about it. I thought about, you know, hey, let's throw a party. I did several things over the years, you know. Past few years, I didn't do anything. I thought about a party, you know, but after my buddy, little Johnny, passed away and things of that nature, you know, I just don't even feel that partying mode. I feel like just sitting back and just thanking God, you know, for letting me make it through, you know, because there's so many roadblocks in our lives that sometimes we just didn't know what the outcome was going to be. But, you know, putting your hand in God's hand and then letting him work it out. You know, what you put in the wash gonna come out in the rinse. And so, just watching him work it out and how things could, you just didn't know how it was going to happen. And then to be able to, on Sunday, when I'm asking all my friends and family and people to do, hey, come to church with me, 11 o'clock. 11 o'clock, Jericho Missionary Baptist Church. Come on, sit down and rejoice and praise God with me. That's what I want to do for my brother. That's the best gift that I can do for me and the people that's connected with me. Get a God connection. So if it is something at the end of the road, we got that extra insurance, and it's the rest assurance that, and I know a lot of us, saying out there, and a lot of times we put too much weight on ourselves, too much stress on ourselves, because we're not to the point where the next person might be at. We're not to this holier than thou state, but we all trying to get to the shore, one step at a time. So long as you know that you're trying to get there. So we either start together, we ain't gonna finish together in the same place. So, long as you're trying to strive to get there, and that's what we're trying to do, strive to get there. All our viewers out there, everybody that listen to me on 90.1 WFT on Sunday mornings, that's what I talk about. It's just making the effort, making a positive effort to get there, to get somewhere where we can help somebody else and let them and let your life be an example. Because you don't have to worry about what the naysayers saying when your life is just an example. They see it. That's why they hating, because they see it. What God to do is God to, David talks a lot about, yea, though I walk through a valley of the shadows of death, I fear no evil. And he talks about, preparing a table in front of my enemies. And we always wonder in that passage, well, why I want to be eating with my enemies? What I'm going to be eating with the people I don't like? Well, see, I'm going to tell you a unique thing about God. He like to show up and show out and let the devil know that he's God, and let your friends know, your negative friends know, man, they God connected. He's God connected. She's God connected. And then so he like to show up and show out. So when you're getting blessed, on that table, he like to put all the, the good food that's on the table in front of them. So they're able to say, oh man, you know something about that? Oh, you know something about that? Man, you got some of this. And just so many different things are in place for you. You don't even know how it happened. You don't even know how it happened. A lot of things that happened in my life, I don't even know how it happened. But I do know how it happened at the end of the day, because it's keeping that hand right in God's hand. Knowing where to rock, being able to pray, get to a place of peace, taking it to God sometimes. You don't need to tell Facebook, you don't need to go tell a bunch of your homies, because most of the people can't keep a secret anyway. So a lot of times, going to God with it, and then laying it on the altar and leaving it there, walking away from it and saying, Lord, I'm not going to let this worry me anymore, at all, period. At all, period. I'm going to put it in your hands. And then walk away, and then start making some positive steps on your journey, as Abram did. Start keeping on God connected. And when they departed, Lot went to his destructive area, and Abram went to a land of milk and honey and peace. And that's just how a fork in the road go. That's how that choice is. You got choices, So when we're talking to our young people, and I'm dealing with young people, you got a choice. You could sit in school and pay attention and listen, or you could be, 40 years old trying to get a high school diploma or GED. It's your choice. It's a choice on your job. Whether you want to be on there, you want to move up the corporate ladder, or you just want to stay in a place. A lot of times we just complacent. We comfortable right where we're at. We're comfortable right there. And a lot of times we stick with what we're comfortable in and not really making any efforts to try to move forward because we're comfortable. We're around the people that we're comfortable with because we know all about them. They know all about us. They study beating you up because they know all about you. You study beating them up because they know all about you. And even when you change, they don't want you to change. They study trying to tell you, I remember when. And you study telling them, well, right now I'm somebody different. I remember one of my barbers, and I was telling him, I said, man, and we had talked about this 10 years earlier. And then I said, and then I started telling him about some changes we wanted to make in my barbershop. And he said, well, you weren't talking about this 10 years ago. You weren't this person 10 years ago. I said, man, none of us should be the same person we were 10 years ago. If you're doing the same thing, I remember talking to a guy one day and I said, man, you can't stand out here. He said, Sean, I've been standing out here since the 60s. And I kind of walked away because he's stuck. Like Chuck, he's stuck. He ain't gonna move. He's not gonna move. He's not ready to move. Been standing in the same place, expecting a different result since the 60s. And we in 2014. Chasing the hustle. Everything can't be a lick. Some things you gotta blood, sweat, and tears. Some things we just gotta put blood, sweat, and tears in. And the test becomes a testimony. But some things you gotta work for, man. You just gotta sit in that classroom. You gotta let the sleep monster be on your back and you're tired and you're going through, you know. Some things ain't just easy in life. In order for you to get that full benefit, it shouldn't be easy. It should be some work, because that's just self-starter, just being a self-starter, you know, and that's just feeling that gratitude at the end of the day, to be the saying, man, I did do it. That's self-gratification that you should have for yourself, you know, building yourself up. To say, man, I did do it, and then that opens up the gate for a new accomplishment, somewhere, a new level to be at. You know, in life you're moving up levels. You know, you at levels. You study moving. You study trying to grow. You study trying to be this newfound person, this new person to be a blessing to other people. You know, you study trying to shake off the crabs in the barrel. You know, because you're going to have the crabs in the barrel that's going to be trying to pull you down. Study tell you about back in the day and what you used to do. Never having a faith movement mindset. Never be able to have any type of vision. You know, the people perish for lack of knowledge, for the lack of vision. You know, the family fall off because we got no direction we're going in. You know, mom stayed here, grandma stayed here, my kids gonna grow up here. You know, come on now. My community gonna look like this. It's been looking like this. Well, why shouldn't the community move forward? Why shouldn't the community change? You know, I've sat in many meetings and folks ready to, you know, well, why we gotta change? Because it's 2014. Because we got new ways of home development. We got new ways of lifestyles. We got new ways of lawn care. We got new ways of, it's just the way things are moving. Now, granted, I do believe in keeping in place some key principles and some old, you know, morals, values, principles. Keeping those in place, but add some new spin to it. I do understand. I believe in that. You know. I mean, nowadays we can't move without our cell phones. You know, I misplaced my cell phone the other day and I almost went nuts because I couldn't find my cell phone. You know, we can't make it nowadays without the new technology. I remember saying, man, I can't even remember my mom's cell phone number. Not even knowing my own mom's cell phone number, because you know, we lock it in and it's just locked in and we just rely on that. You know, it was just a time where we just, you know, where we didn't rely on all the things that we have now. You know, our kids don't even go outside. Our neighbors don't even know each other. We don't have porch families. We don't go down the street. We don't congregate anymore and things of that nature. So we just, I mean, just so many different other things that just have our minds just distracted. You know, we're constantly on the internet. You know, we're constantly doing so many different other things that we don't share and we don't connect. And so what I'll say is, you know, some things, you know, just put them down. Some things just put them down for the side for a second, because of the fact that we need each other. We really need each other, man. And as we grow as a community and we start to get in place, because I do stay optimistic on that. And that's the reason for doing this television program every Sunday night, is for us to stay optimistic and put forth some great efforts. We got a lot of great things that's coming up. We got the Jetty Rose Day that's going to be at King School Park on the 28th of June. We'll be out there doing some insurance, making people aware about insurance and just affordability of insurance, and not letting anybody tell you can't get it. Cancer, you know, heart attack, stroke, high diabetes, and things of that nature. We'll let you know, man, you can get covered. You know, you can still get covered. So, you know, I just thank the Lord for the people that put Jetty Rose together and that committee, you know, and that family that understood that legacy building and continuing the legacy of a great person. And that's just how it go, man. I mean, at the end of the day, you're going to rest in peace because you lived in peace. And that's the key. You done lived in peace. So, we don't have to lie on you or try to promote you at that service or what that service is going to look like. It didn't develop itself into a place of peace. So I thank the Lord for you. I thank the Lord for this TV program, excuse me. I thank the Lord for the staff that's over here at UPTV. Thank you for another episode of Let the Truth Be Told.